and welcome back to Curious by Nature. My name is Annabelle, and today we're going to take a special behind-the-scenes look at our collections facility with Dawn and Jessica as our guides. They're going to show us some of the projects they've been working on, some of the thousands of specimens in our collections, and more. Let's head on over to Ravenswood and get started.
Welcome. I'm Dawn Roberts, Senior Director of Collections, and this is Jessica Weller, our Assistant Collections Manager. We're here today to bring you a behind-the-scenes look at the Chicago Academy of Sciences collections. Now, the Chicago Academy of Sciences is a regional natural history museum with a long history in Chicago. Founded originally in 1857, the Academy survived local catastrophes like the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. And has built a legacy of engaging the public in science and nature.
The Academy's Peggy Notebaert Nature Museum in Lincoln Park is the institution's third permanent museum home. In addition to exhibits highlighting the biodiversity of the region, the museum also has live animal collections, conservation biology labs, community science programs, and horticultural trails around the building. The Academy's Collections Facility is located off-site from the Nature Museum in Ravenswood. Here, our team preserves and manages the diverse collections containing over 300,000 specimens and artifacts, as well as archives and audiovisual materials. The collections have a strong focus on the Midwest and Western Great Lakes region, particularly Illinois, although we do have specimens from across North America and the globe.
The accessibility to our collections has been one of our primary initiatives over the past several years, and making that raw data and use images as broadly available as possible is a top priority. Through Arctos, the online collections management system that we use, we're able to freely share data and images from our collections. The system facilitates tracking use of the collections, and it also enables data enhancements such as georeferencing and connecting publications to particular specimens.
Our herbarium contains over 22,000 botanic specimens, 10,000 of which are currently accessible in Arctos. In addition to migrating data from the remaining specimens, we are also processing 6,000 uncatalogued specimens from the 19th century, dating as far back as the 1830s. This collection was last addressed by Dr. Anna Pedersen-Kummer, who was the Academy's honorary curator of botany in the 1940s. She repped most of the specimens in these paper bags in 1943. Most of these packages have not been opened since. With the help of an Institute of Museum and Library Services grant, we are working to process this backlog and provide access to the completed herbarium for research both in person and online. Our collections team is currently processing the backlog by mounting specimens, identifying species, cataloging and georeferencing collection data, scanning completed herbarium sheets, and providing as much information to Arctos as possible. We've also collaborated with other Arctos users to better represent data within the collection management system so that researchers and collection staff better understand how we arrived at certain conclusions. We've collected handwriting to a collector, found connections to the archives, and other important information about how the specimen was processed. So we've been able to identify a couple different people's handwriting from these specimen labels. This handwriting here, we've actually traced back to an exhibition clerk who worked at the museum in the 1890s, and there's actually a letter from Mary Agnes Chase, who was actually one of the people who got the herbarium processed back in the 1800s. She started to get it processed, and she refers to someone with really nice handwriting who wrote the information about the specimen directly on the herbarium sheet. And she says that these are also the first specimens that she mounted while she was working there.
We were fortunate to collaborate with the Field Museum on their Invert eBay's project through a National Science Foundation Penn grant. For this project, we migrated data for over 104,000 mollusk and arthropod specimens into Arctos. And these data are also shared through the Global Biodiversity Information Facility, iDigBio, and connected into the Invert eBase and Scan Symbiota data portals. Now, in addition to verifying all the specimens and migrating their data into our online platform, we worked with the Field Museum and the Illinois Natural History Survey to update mollusk taxonomy, as it was largely from the early to mid-20th century. We also imaged all the type specimens in our collection and georeferenced specimen localities to further expand the research use of these collections. This project also informed the creation of educational materials for our museum. Our team collaborated with staff in our education department to develop K-12 curricula that incorporated information about our local mollusk species from our collections and their role as environmental indicators. Also, as part of our teaching collection, we create small display boxes called collections interpretive boxes with facilitator guides that are regularly used for public engagement through the museum. The archive collections are closely tied to the scientific collections. And as we process these paper materials and historic photographs, we're able to further expand the information available about individual specimens, Academy fieldwork, as well as local conservation activities. Digitization of historic images from our audiovisual collection has highlighted local field surveys conducted by Academy staff in the early 1900s and activities from local naturalists. We have been able to connect this data and information from the field surveys to the images, providing greater context to the photographs that can be used as a resource for ecological conditions and the presence and behavior of native species 100 years ago. These images are shared online through our Internet Archive page.
Like many collections, we have specimens without scientific data. Whether they were found in the collection or were accidentally separated from their original data, these specimens are not as valuable to researchers without the context of the specimen's life and collection. The teaching collection was established in 2010. Since then, collection staff and volunteers have developed creative ways of using and displaying these specimens for public engagement and educational programs. So this was one that was in the collection at one point and was discovered with pest damage. So instead of deaccessioning it, Dawn made it into a teaching object so we can show people who come into the collections why we take such care to not have food or water or anything that could lead bugs towards the materials. This is an example of a bird that came to us after it was hit by a car. So it couldn't be made into a study skin, but we could still take elements of the remains and spread them out. So you can see the details of the wings, how the claws are. So even though it was hit by a car, unfortunately, we still have a way to display it and teach people about the anatomy of the bird.
Thank you for joining us for a look at the Academy's collections. As always, check out the museum's website to learn more about the Academy and its Nature Museum and current activities. And I hope you'll visit the museum soon. And if you are interested in learning more about the collections, visit naturemuseum.org/collections for more information and links to our online portals. Thank you.
That's our show for today. Thank you to Dawn and Jessica for showing us around. Want to learn more about our collections? We've picked out these videos for you. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time on Curious by Nature.